Tell us the story.
So
you've teleported.
We're doing science, and we're still alive.
You've teleported through time.
That's the summary of the session. We're doing science.
And you've discovered that you can duplicate things.
Well, we haven't really experimented with that much yet.
Okay, but you were pretty sure.
In theory. The results of our experiments suggest there might be some difficulties with that.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with what happened last time?
Yep.
Okay. So we got a time machine. It's awesome. And we've got these elves that invented it, but didn't know what they invented. And they said there was a secret sigil. So we're like, well, take us to the secret sigil.
And we're going to take them in the present, because in the past it's full of zombies.
Yeah.
And that's bad.
Yeah, the present seems to be the nicest place right now, because it's only been devastated by an earthquake. Which unfortunately means a lot of the passages have been collapsed. So he's like, okay, there's a secret passage that'll take you there. Oh, full of boulders. That's okay. There's a second secret passage. So we go up topside, and it's in a lake now.
Well, and when he revealed there was a second secret passage, so there's the guy, there's like the savant guy. And his name, what was it, Elganath or
something?
Doesn't matter. And he was like, oh, there's another secret passage, and the smart kind of wizard guy who was with him was like, there's another secret passage you never told me? I can't believe you're telling these random guys you just met, and I worked with you for 5 years, and you never told me there was another secret entrance to the secret sigil. And it's like, whatever. It'll be fine. Come on.
So the second secret entrance is collapsed as well. We're like, oh, crap. Okay, well, is there a third? And he's like, funny? Yes, there is. So we go to the third one was the one we actually used, if I remember correctly. It was partly collapsed, but in an okay way.
Who is this guy? This guy seems weird.
Well, he kept going on that, he built this place because he just had a vision that he had to build it here, and I mean that's
with
why
3 secret passages.
Well, no,
that's just something he did.
Oh,
that was all him.
Okay.
he invented this whole temple and had it all built and stuff, and it had these secret passages, and he he was just saying, like, this is the place it had to be built. That's why it's up in a tower. I knew we built the tower to build the sigil, and I don't know. He went on at length, and his companion was obviously just sort of like whatever. But I mean, his companion, I forget his name too, very quickly figured out that this was their future and was whatever, whereas this guy kept being like, what did your sigil do? Weird, it got rid of all the undead, and it destroyed the city.
Made an earthquake or something.
Yeah. And because when they went outside, the whole city, it was actually very similar to the future they saw, where the temple was kind of on a pinnacle of rock, and the whole city had collapsed into the ground. And except the difference is, instead of there being drow everywhere, it was just everything was on fire, destroyed, screaming.
Yeah. So it's better. This is a better future, better than the future.
Yeah. But Alan Way had been destroyed.
Yes, Alan Way had been destroyed.
When they went by,
Good job, guys.
We did that.
Good job, guys. It's not immune to cricket-led parties.
Earthquakes. No, earthquakes was the thing.
Cricket-led parties.
No.
And when they were going outside to the secret passage, they had to pass by those Warforged who had killed the white and blue elves.
Yeah.
And everyone was very concerned about this, because you never know what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And but the guy, Elganath, was like, oh, it'll be fine. Come on, Warforged are great. They always save my life. I've had my life saved like at least 5 times by Warforged, so it should be fine. I mean, the first time I came to build here, I was like staring up at where the sigil was going to be, and then I walked off the cliff, but a Warforged grabbed me at the last second. They're great. And so he walked, and everyone was keeping their distance. He walks right by the Warforged, pats him on the back, like, hey guys, awesome. They don't move.
We're all like expecting the Warforged to just like murder him or something, because maybe that's what's supposed to happen now.
This guy's awesome.
Oh yeah. So we get to this. We go into this secret sigil via the third secret passage, and it's actually a passage we passed through before. It had a secret door in it we didn't find, and now that passage has collapsed, but it's collapsed downwards so that there's like a cavern below.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a secret passage into a cave below the passage. Well, now the whole passage is collapsed into there. So.
Yeah. So it basically the collapse this time opened the passage up.
Right.
So we go down there. And we go through this natural cave to this big room, this big cavern that has a sigil on the floor. And it's also very muddy and damp and stuff. And we see a lot of tracks in the mud from some drow that were recently there, but they just recently fled or left from that area. And we figure probably it was the earthquake. When the earthquake happened, they ran out of there. So there's a sigil there. And so
water is pouring on it from a crack in the roof of the cavern, because it's actually right below where there's like a pond. The pond is like wrecked now, but there's like a crack in the roof and water's pouring down, so it's soaking wet and water's splashing and whatever.
Yeah. So we get Serendipity, Van Goldstrider Moore, Top of Tower, Shepherd of Soul, Strider through time, up on the sigil. And she does her magic wah-wah and detects that the sigil only goes one way, into the past. We're like, oh, okay, that's boring. We've been there, but let's do it. Anyway, let's see where this goes. Insert in amongst all of this a whole lot of occasional, like, why are we doing this from Croesus Snake and stuff like that.
And excitement from Elganath. It's like, oh, come on, this is going to be so awesome.
And also from Serendipity, Van Goldstrider Moore, Top of the Tower, Shepherd of Soul, Strider through time.
Actually, that reminds me of his response when this smart guy, the wizard guy or whatever, was saying, why are you telling these guys? I've worked with you for 5 years. He said, well, you worked with me for 5 years and you never accomplished anything. These guys already figured it out. They're awesome. It's just like, but, yeah.
So...
he did reveal that like he's worked with various guys over the he's not magical at all, and he's just he hires
the idea man.
Yeah, but he hires people to help him. And this guy was actually into it. He was like, this is actually pretty cool. It obviously does something really cool. And he was starting to get the idea that like it definitely had something to do with time, but he thought it was going to be some way to like see the future or something. That was what his theories were currently pointing towards.
So we activate the rune, and we go back in time. We're back in the zombie era. We find this out because now the cavern isn't wrecked anymore. The second secret passage in is intact again, and that's a rope ladder that leads up to, just directly up to this little hatch. So Cricket goes up the rope ladder, opens the hatch, and there's hordes of zombies everywhere, and they're coming this way. Close, seal up the hatch, come back down. And so we tell the guy, we're back in zombie land again. And Alganath is initially, like, oh, that's no good. But then he realizes, oh, wait, this cavern we're in. We go down to the end of it, and there's an opening that leads out to the sea, like in the middle of a cliff. And there's no zombies anywhere. They were trapped in the temple, topside. They couldn't get out. And now there's this open passage where there's no zombies. He's like, we can get out through this way. So in a sense, they've dodged the zombies by going to the future, traveling to a safe zone, going back in the past again.
Right.
And so they were like, yeah, do you have any like way of like flying out of here? And I'm like, yeah, we've got a ritual. We can make eagles. So we make the eagles for this guy. And we have this brilliant idea. Time to experiment. Time to science. We can save Allenway. We're going to tell this guy, okay, we're going to let you go back in your native time. We're releasing you back into the wild.
Right.
We need you to take a message. When they rebuild Allenway, they need to add wards against earthquakes to prevent that earthquake from destroying it in the future, because it will be destroyed by an earthquake. Now you have foreknowledge. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, totally, that's a cool idea, we'll do that. And so we whistle up the eagles and we set them off to go flying off like that. At which point John busts out the Jenga game. When we tamper with time, we have to play Jenga. And the more we tamper with time, the more blocks we have to pull out of the Jenga tower. So he had us start drawing blocks in. We don't know how many in total this is going to be. It turns out it was 14 in total.
For this one, it was 18.
18 in total. 18 blocks.
Oh, wow.
It was 4 when they said, yeah, sure, we'll put the eagles, or when they had the idea. 4 when he got on, and then that guy was going on about how he was going to come back and like keep working on the temple and make it better and make more sigils, and that was when I had to draw 10 more.
Yeah. So we didn't quite make it.
The Jenga tower fell.
We got close. We got the first 8 fine, and then during the final 10 drawing, the tower fell. At which point a dragon ate it.
Yeah, they were flying away, and as they were getting into the distance, a big salt dragon swooped down, killed both their eagles, and they fell, and they saw their dead corpses falling into the sea.
Right.
Yeah. So
that didn't work.
That didn't work. So we go back, and we're like, okay. So we got some options here. This
Can you go back in time and read?
We were thinking of doing. We could go a second step back to the previous time Alloway was destroyed. Find this elf guy and warn him that we're going to get him killed, and that way we can avoid his death.
Right.
So yeah, we can still save this elf guy, even though he's been eaten by a dragon.
Right.
And that's when we're starting to like pile on all kinds. We're making it worse and worse and worse. All these go further back in time, change things so that our previous screw up didn't happen.
Right.
That'd be like 2 levels deep now. Either way, we have to go back to the present, though, because this sigil only comes back to this time period. The only sigil we know of that goes 2 steps back is the one at the top of the tower.
And that one went...
It's still around. It's okay.
Where did that one go back to?
We haven't actually gone the second step back. We do know it goes another step back in time.
Right.
We don't know how far back that is.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done that experiment yet. For now, though, we have to go back to the future. Or the present, and so we do that, and then we're starting to head back to the tower to go up to the top of the tower to go 2 steps back in time and try and save the elves from us.
Mm-hmm.
But on the way there, we pass by those Warforged again.
Mm-hmm.
For the Tom Cat, is veggies okay just because we have the mushrooms?
Yeah.
And so we're passing by these Warforged again. And I can't remember who it was that had the idea. Was it Aurora? Aurora? Who was it that...
I don't remember. It might have been Serendipity. Who knows? It might have been a player.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because it was interesting that like several times throughout the session, both Robert and Tim were making it clear that they were really keen on trying out these time portals,
but their characters
were dead set against it.
Yeah.
So I had to keep reminding everyone, because they were arguing against everything we were doing the whole time.
Yeah.
And every once in a while they'd be like, just to remind you that Tim really wants to do this.
Yeah.
But Croesus is no way.
Let's see, was there something else? Okay, I missed an entirely huge thing that happened. Well, we were still in the past, in Zombie Town, after the elves got eaten. We had the idea, what if we killed all the zombies and then just went out and like did it ourselves or whatever. We have an earthquake machine with us.
Oh yeah.
Yes, this happened back then, right? That
Well,
was when this
and
happened?
actually, the reason was actually, I think that.
Why did we do this? I can't
it was.
remember why
It
we did
was. The idea was if you trigger an earthquake in the past,
right.
people will know that earthquakes are dangerous, and so they'll ward against earthquakes in the future.
Yes, we can kill the zombies and protect Alloway in the future if we trigger an earthquake now. And we've seen that what happens is when you approach the sigil with the box closed, an earthquake happens.
Right.
And so we're like, oh, well, it's fine. We'll just stand on the sigil. We'll close the box. It'll make an earthquake happen. And then we'll open the box again to stop the earthquake. And then we'll go back into the future. And they'll ward against earthquakes. And everything will be great. So that's what we were going to try. So we get up on the sigil because we want to be able to escape real quick if something goes wrong.
Of course.
Not that anything will.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
But, we are inside a cave and we're going to make an earthquake happen, so rocks could fall and everyone dies.
Yeah, they do want it to be able to trigger the sigil if they need to, so they all get onto it.
Yeah, and we're like, Cricket is readying in action to slam the box, to pull the box open if things go awry. All this, we're all really, really ready for this. And so Serendipity, Van Gogh, Lower Top of the Tower, Shepherd of Souls, Strider Through Time, closes the box to make an earthquake happen. But that's not what happens. I think there's no Jenga or anything, because when the
thing is closed, the Jenga automatically falls.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Croesus, even though he's resisted it all these years, hears Corblin say, "Now is the time to rise and follow me." And Croesus just kind of does the blank stare and immediately attacks Serendipity with his best attack. Yeah. And he happens to choose Shattered Time. So I was like, it does quad damage. So he just like blasts Serendipity and does all of his awesome stuff, and it does 40 damage to her.
Guardian's counter. So Cricket leaps in front and takes Croesus's mighty blow. Doesn't quite bloody her. If Croesus had done full damage, it would have nearly killed her with one shot. Nearly one shot. But yeah, so Croesus is suddenly taken over by Corblin and attacks Serendipity, Van Gogh, Sonata, Top of the Tower, Shepherd of Souls, Strider Through Time, all out. Cricket takes a shot, and then Serendipity, Van Gogh, Sonata, Top of the Tower, Shepherd of Souls, Strider Through Time, triggers the sigil, like, oh, holy crap, get us out of here.
No, she opens the box.
She opened the box.
As soon as the box opened, Croesus makes his save, and it's just like, whoa, what happened? That was weird.
Yeah, and but she also triggers the
Serendipity
sigil.
slaps him in the face.
Yeah. And Cricket's like lying on the ground. He's like, "Good shot, sir. Alpha play it."
Yeah. And they travel to the present. Yeah.
So last session, or session or two ago, it was Hank that bludgeoned Cricket while trying to hit. Who was he trying to hit? He was trying to hit Croesus. Okay, so it wasn't everyone piling on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone takes their turn beating up on
Cricket. Yeah.
Cricket.
But anyway, we get back to the present, and then we're walking past. Sorry, this is a bit of a little insert.
Yeah, that was a side
Yeah, so we discovered
adventure.
We discovered we don't have an earthquake machine.
You have
a stop the time machine from happening machine.
Yeah, they figured out through
something
checks that
something happens to try and prevent you from traveling through time.
Yeah,
when you close the box.
Well, the item in the box,
the bone of the earth in the box, is what allows you to be able to travel. It thwarts whatever mechanism.
So was the bone in the box when you close the box?
Yes, that's the whole point. When you close the box, it can no longer protect you.
Right. Okay.
See, it turns out the universe doesn't want things to change, and so it will throw stuff at you to stop you from changing things, like Dragon out of nowhere, or Croesus fails the saving throw that he's been making for years, or an earthquake happens, that sort of thing. It will use whatever it has on hand to try and stop history from changing. And the easiest way to do that is to stop you from traveling in time in the first place. So anytime you approach those sigils with the ability to use the sigils, the universe will try and throw something at you to stop you from being able to do that.
Okay.
And unless you've got the bone of the earth, it'll succeed. If you have the bone of the earth, then you've got a chance. You have to do Jenga.
It'll suppress. It suppresses it enough that you can do the time travel, but then once you start messing with history, it's a little bit beyond its abilities.
Yeah.
So depending on how much you mess with history, you might have to take 1 block or 2 blocks, or like 10 blocks, or I don't know, like if it's super extreme.
So my first thought was we need to run off a bunch of time duplicates of this bone of the earth so that we've got extra protection.
Right.
But we couldn't figure out how to do that. I've thought of a way of doing that. Okay, we'll try that next time.
Because you had to leave.
Anyway,
you have to leave it in the past or something.
Yeah, it's okay. I figured it out now. We can time duplicate the bone of the earth. It'll be awesome. Anyway,
were you able?
Nothing will go wrong.
Have you time duplicated anything yet?
There's the we haven't confirmed it yet, but Aurora took the +1 amulet, the amulet of protection +1 that she gave to Teacher from his corpse in the future and brought it back. So now we have to find Teacher in the present, and he'll have the amulet of protection +1 on him. And that'll be a confirmed time duplication. We haven't seen Teacher since we started messing around yet, so we got to find him, and that will confirm time duplication works. And also, we can't do it this level, but next level we'll be able to time duplicate cricket as much as we need. So
Because of the stasis pod.
yeah, there's a it's called Primal Prison. It's going to be a bit tricky, but we might be able to do it. We'll see. We'll experiment. If all else fails, cricket's pretty expendable, and we'll have many of them, so we can burn crickets on this. We had an idea, like we're trying to figure out exactly how long it is into the future when the drow are there. So we thought, or I thought, no one else is having these ideas for how to use cricket except me.
Right.
Everyone else reacts with horror when I suggest, I don't know why.
Actually, Aurora thought it was fine, but she also thought she should time duplicate herself, too.
Yes, and cricket wouldn't go for that, because that's just weird.
Can't time duplicate people.
Yeah, that's wrong. But anyway, my idea was make a whole lot of these primal prisoned cricket time duplicates. And go to one of the rooms that we know is sealed off in the future and hasn't been disturbed. Have one of the time duplicate crickets active with all the other ones in prison. And then every time cricket is about to die of old age, she frees a new one. And then we go into the future and we just count how many dead crickets there are. And that'll tell us how many cricket lifetimes.
Yeah.
You just have them also marking on the walls.
Could do that.
The years.
Yeah. Could do. Yeah. Have them keep a calendar. And then we'll know how far in the future it is.
Of course.
And there might even be some leftover crickets that are still usable after that. I mean, the original the party would probably still want to keep one with them. But, yeah.
It would devalue the cricket, though.
I don't know.
I mean, economies, right?
Well, if we're mass producing crickets to the point where it's depressing the value globally, I think we've got bigger issues going on. But anyway.
I mean, the goal of any D&D game is to make ridiculous amounts of profit, right?
Yes.
However you possibly can.
We can do it by selling crickets.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, most of the time when I make these suggestions that involve, flagrantly throwing away cricket's life, everyone is all like, that's horrible. They
How
don't do
could
it.
you?
I don't know. So anyway, getting back to the present. We're headed for the sigil that'll go 2 steps back in time so we can save the elves from ourselves. And we're passing by the Warforged, and it occurs to someone, I don't know who it was at this point, I've slipped my mind, why don't we just get the Warforged to deliver the message for us? They're all about this sort of time messing stuff, and they do weird things and stuff, so...
We don't care about them, we won't feel bad if they die when
don't feel bad.
Kills them.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Who cares about Warforged? They're just things, they're like cricket. We ask a Warforged, or Cricket actually asks a Warforged, because no one wants to go near him, but Cricket's expendable.
Right.
And she's got an awesome diplomacy, and an awesome bluff. So she goes up to the Warforged, and she's like, okay, so we have a time machine, and we just killed our elves trying to stop this earthquake from having happened. Would you come with us into the past, and then go and deliver a message to the leadership of Alanway when they rebuild to ward it against earthquakes? Now, this is the sort of question I'm sure they get asked all the time.
Right.
At first, they just don't say anything because when she's doing her preamble, and they've talked to them before, and they just
they're totally ignoring us.
Yeah, but when she says, "Would you like to take this message?" he suddenly activates and says, "Yes, I'd love to take a message to the past for you."
All right then. So we stop our little mission to try and rescue those elves from ourselves by going 2 steps back in the past. We may still do that next session. We didn't get to it this one.
Well, and actually, that reminds me that there was some debate over whether the party should just go into Alanway and try to help with the current disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Or whether they should try to go back in time and stop the disaster from happening at all. Ultimately, they decided on the latter, mainly because that's what all the players wanted to do.
I kept suggesting that we split the party.
That was just to troll me, though.
Yeah, mainly it was. I just wanted to see what the DM would do if we had the party split over 2 time periods, and then we change history so that one of the time periods changes. That would be just... I want to see what John does.
I have to break out Day of the Tentacle and see what they did.
So anyway, we take the Warforged into the past and hand him the message, and I think we just left him there.
Well, the only other thing I've noticed that you were going to you're going to cast the Eagles again, but you hadn't had an extended rest.
Right.
And so it was going to cost a bunch of money, in those materials you need for the ritual. And the Warforged says, "Don't worry, I have the materials for that ritual right here."
Yeah.
And puts them down.
Yeah.
And so you had exactly the right materials for her Eagle ritual.
Yeah.
And so she casts it for free. He gets on the Eagle and flies away. And they play their Jenga, and this time they only have to draw 8 blocks.
Yeah. For some reason, I think it was probably because that elf wanted to do a lot more than just give the message.
Yeah, he
wanted to continue rebuilding and stuff like
on
that.
the temple.
When history recorded that he had died of the zombies. And so it would have been a really big change if the elf survived, whereas this Warforged was just going to do this one specific thing. And then nothing more. So...
it was close though. Like pulling those last few Jenga blocks, I know Shannon was having a lot of trouble finding safe blocks.
I wasn't watching. I was like, we'll just.
It was tense.
Whatever happens, happens. So we travel back to the present, and something interesting happens. You may remember that in the present there had been that earthquake, and there was water pouring from a crack in the ceiling onto the sigil, so everything was all like under a waterfall. Well, we arrived back in the present, and the water's still pouring briefly. Then it starts going all phantomy and translucent as if it's not really there. And then
like that town.
Yeah. And then John makes us all does reflex attacks on all of us with the falling phantom water. And it hits Hank and Croesus, but not anyone else. Ironically enough, the 2 that are most opposed to tampering with time. And it screws with their memories. They get that time sickness thing that we've experienced before.
In the town.
They lose their best daily, and they sort of can't really remember all the stuff that we've done since. When was it?
About a day. Since the last time you rested, which was in that dark future.
So they're really unclear on what just happened. Fortunately, the rest of us are.
Did Hank lose his anger again or anything like that?
Not that time.
No.
I remember that was because last time he lost his anger was because it took his rage.
Yeah.
He had just got his rage ability, and that was what it took away.
Yeah.
So this time, I don't know, they didn't really play it much except for just that they were confused.
Well, I think the abilities they took were less iconic this time. Just some daily, it's not. In Hank's case, taking his rage away is kind of a cool, iconic thing, It's like... Anyway, so the water fades away, the damage from the earthquake fades away. The earthquake didn't happen. Alan Wade was warded against earthquakes. And
no one will ever know that you saved it.
They also don't know we wrecked it, so it evens out. So, problem. Those drow that fled the cavern because of the earthquake. They didn't flee the cavern now.
Right. So they're there.
So as we're heading out, we see that there's drow guards lurking around watching us. And we're like, oh, the drow are here. They didn't run away. Well, we like killing drow, so that's okay, I guess. So we'll kill them. But we didn't really have time for that, so the session ended. So we haven't got topside yet.
Right.
So we haven't seen the state of Allenway. So
you've discovered Jenga. Time Jenga.
Yes, so we've discovered, yes, indeedy, we can change history. It can be tricky. There's forces that oppose it. So My concern with making time duplicates is that might involve Jenga as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that failed Jenga will kill off some of the time duplicates. But unfortunately, Cricket's expendable, so we can burn as many of those as we need.
Right. But is it possible that the real Cricket might die?
No, because history says she didn't die. Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly, only time duplicates have high concentrations of doom particles.
Kem's first rule: you don't say yes to Corbland. Kem's first rule: you don't say yes to Corbland. You don't listen to what he said. We all agreed. We don't need to talk about it. We just say no. Just say no, no, no. He can't tell us what to do because we're not dead. The sickness doesn't get Oblin. That's the rule. You follow it. Why is it getting harder to follow the rules?
Did it work? Did we change history? Did we save Alan Way? I can't tell. I mean, the water disappeared that was pouring in here. I guess that means the lake up there is gone, the pond. And there's drow that are... They think they're being so sneaky, but we totally see them. They need to take lessons on sneaking from Cricket. And they weren't there before. So something's changed. But have we saved the city?
I think it worked. It actually worked. We went back in time, and we made a change, and it seems it has had the desired effect on the present. Oh, it's times like this that I really wish that I could wish for things of my own. But that would be wrong, and I'm glad that I can't. But sometimes I wish that I could wish for things of my own.
So I know I'm going to come off sounding a bit like Croesus here, going on a rant about stuff, but messing with time isn't going to work. Going back in time to try and change the future, we're just going to cause more problems, and we might not even succeed in fixing what we set out to do. And yeah, it's just gonna spiral out of control, and we're gonna ruin everything. And we shouldn't have opened the box. We shouldn't have got the box in the first place. Why do we have to be? Why do we have to be the ones stuck trying to clean up a mess and just throwing everything into complete and utter disarray? That seems like something that the bad guys would do. And I'm pretty sure we're not the bad guys. We're trying to save the world, not wreck it. So we should just return to our original time, deal with the earthquake as it has already happened instead of trying to prevent it, and move on with our lives. Probably shouldn't give the box to anybody because that's a bad idea. We gotta keep the codex safe and not let it fall into the wrong hands. No one needs to know we have it. We just move on with our lives and carry on. But no, we had to go and prevent the earthquake. I don't know what happened out there. Some water fell on me, but then it didn't exist, and then I fell asleep, and it's not supposed to work this way. And I want to find out what happened. Not so that we can fix it again, but so that we can deal with it accordingly without messing with time further. And I was right, that totally did sound like a Croesus rant. And I'm okay with that, because it was interesting.
Dear Diary, today we discovered that we can go back in time and prevent terrible things from happening. This is, by far, the best day of any life I have ever had. We can do so much good. We can help so many people. This is so wonderful. Oh, how am I going to sleep tonight? Oh, this is so great.